Ah, j'ai pas changé le titre. Attendez. Playlist. Comment... Est-ce que vous avez une idée de titre? J'ai jamais d'idée de titre. Parce que je sais pas. Oh. Coucou Adrien, comment tu vas? Tu viens de te réveiller mais il est 3 h du matin? Qu'est-ce que c'est que cette histoire? Attendez. What remains of Edith Finch? Attends le jeu, 2 secondes, 2 secondes. 2 secondes. Laisse-moi dire aux gens qu'on joue à ça. Sinon personne sait. On va éditer. Ouais, je sais pas. Le jeu qui marcelle. Pourquoi Marcel? J'ai pas la ref, je crois. Éditer, vas-y. Oh le pire. Putain quel sac ce Kay. Allez, est-ce que vous entendez bien? On va voir quand il y aura des dialogues. C'était pour rire, bah trop tard. Et merci beaucoup Denzel Smile pour le subgift à Jean-Marie58. Merci beaucoup, c'est super gentil. Alors, qu'est-ce qui se passe? The Finch, c'est son arbre généalogique. Attends, nouvelle partie? J'ai pas déjà joué au jeu pourtant. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Je sais pas. Ah oui non mais c'est parce que voilà, j'avais pas suivi le début, d'accord. Allez, let's go. On se plonge dans le jeu. Si j'ai le malheur de m'endormir vers 22 h, je me réveille toujours dans ces eaux-là. Ah oui, tu dors pas longtemps, Adrien. Tu dors que 5 heures. Alors. Qu'est-ce que je peux faire? Non, je veux pas faire pause. On a compris. Ah, R1 du coup. Attendez, attendez. Le son... Pourquoi j'entends un moteur 8000 fois plus fort que les dialogues classiques, hein, vous me direz, mais c'est chiant. C'est mieux. Alors. Par contre, j'ai déjà vu un peu la tronche de la maison. Elle a l'air trop stylée.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Orcas Island Gazette.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Ah. La maison des Weasley, c'est un peu ça en vrai. Hein.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Ah, donc elle a perdu son frère Lewis. Est-ce que c'est trop fort ou c'est bien?
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
Dans son testament, ma mère m'a... Donc elle a perdu sa mère aussi.
Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Alors, je dois aller en haut ou en bas? Ça a l'air good, très bien, nickel. J'ai vu quelqu'un redécouvrir les Prince of Persia la dernière fois et putain j'avais oublié que le mixage son fait avec le cul, j'étais mort de rire. Non mais en vrai moi j'ai des problèmes de mixage son avec presque tous les jeux. Oh on se voit. C'est rare ça. presque tous les jeux à chaque
The
fois,
truth is,
on n'entend pas bien
even
les
after I
dialogues.
inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it.
Ah, j'ai hérité de la maison.
But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to. The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent, as if they're about to say something but never do.
Par contre, c'est quand même assez. Il faut quand même noter que quasiment tous les jeux édités par Annapurna Interactive, ils sont trop bien à chaque fois. Genre à chaque fois, c'est des jeux qui ont vraiment une ambiance et qui ont des trucs à dire quoi. Genre moi, j'avoue que c'est vraiment des jeux que je kiffe. En espérant que ce soit plus joyeux que Maquette. Alors, je crois que c'est bien plus tragique que Maquette, il me semble. Hein.
The way I'd been dreaming about it.
Elle est trop stylée la maison. Et là, ça klaxonne. Non, je crois pas que ça soit un jeu d'énigmes. Je crois que c'est vraiment très basé sur la narration. C'est vraiment narratif pour le coup, Edith Finch, il me semble.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Oh, c'était un peu tristoun quand même, Maquette.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
Ah, super.
Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Ok, donc on va passer par autre part. Est-ce que je peux passer par derrière? Maquette, ça s'est fini comment du coup? J'ai vu jusqu'au moment où ils commençaient à s'embrouiller. Bah ils se sont quittés et puis ils se sont revus et puis ils se sont dit qu'ils se manquaient et après ils se sont dit adieu et ça s'est fini comme ça. Donc du coup bah dur à dire. Je vais pas passer par la chatière si? Ah si.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11. The power had been turned off the night we left.
Le jour de notre départ. Y a pas un viewer qui veut m'apporter une canette de coca? J'ai trop soif. Il me faut ma dose. Tant que personne n'a fini dans un sac poubelle. Ah non, non, quand même pas.
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
Ah, ils ont... Bon, il y a des... Je sais pas pourquoi il y a des livres partout.
But
Mais
instead of a
sinon, elle est
family,
stylée,
they
leur
were
maison.
just memories of one.
Qu'est-ce que ça lit? Witch's Kitchen, Viking's Belly, Holiday Feast.
Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Non, j'en ai plus, Justine. Justement, c'est ça tout le problème. C'est que j'ai plus de coca. Oula, il y a des trucs de thon partout, là.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Demande à Orion. Mais oui, mais il y en a pas chez moi. Il faut que j'en rachète.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Ah bah oui, bah en même temps, c'est quoi cette quantité de bouquins?
Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Son naufrage? Comment une maison peut faire naufrage? Mais demain, je vais en racheter du coup.
Great Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
C'est un peu creepy, non? Barbara Finch, c'est sa maman? Ah mais là y a rien du tout chez moi. Il y a que de l'eau.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Même si tu regardais un max par flemme. Ah oui mais je vais juste acheter du coca. Hein. Je vais pas aller faire les courses. Hein. Oh.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms.
De
Then
1000
Edie
tonnes.
retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Il y a plein de name dropping mais je connais pas sa famille.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
C'est une actrice du coup. Là, elles ont une tronche les portes là.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Faut pas regarder l'arbre. Ah oui, c'est vrai qu'il y a l'arbre là. Ah non, c'est beaucoup plus loin que ça. Ouais, mais c'est pas très clair. Ah, c'est une fille d'Odin. C'est une viking. Je comprends rien à son arbre généalogique. Sven et Eddie. 2010 et 64. Tout est bloqué. Ah ouais. Ah, pas là.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
La chambre du grand-oncle.
I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
Généalogique mais pas logique. Un peu, ouais.
Louis told
J'ai du
me
mal à
there were secret
comprendre.
passages, but I never believed him.
Louis m'a dit qu'il y avait des passages secrets. Ah. Oh. Donc c'était pas la clé de devant, c'était la clé du livre.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
Quoi?
Now it was
C'est
time
pas
to
du
find
tout un
out what
livre.
my mom had been afraid of.
Quoi? C'est quoi ce... Qu'est-ce que c'est que ce passage secret? Son père c'est un dieu normal. Bah à la base, hein. C'est pas un dieu ton père toi, Kay. Hein.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door.
Ça permet d'aller dans
Just
une
like I
des
had
chambres
no
scellées.
idea where all this was gonna lead. I grew up looking at Molly's room through the
C'est la
peephole.
chambre de Molly, d'accord.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Quoi? Trop bizarre. Une chambre de hamster dans un tiroir. Ah non, une gerbille.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Ça ferait un super jeu d'horreur vu l'ambiance de la baraque. Un peu, ouais. Tu fais un slasher dans cette maison là? Qu'est-ce que quoi? C'est... Qu'est-ce que je dois faire? Je dois interagir avec quelque chose très probablement. Carnet. Molly Finch.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Oula. J'espère pas que c'est ce à quoi je pense.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Tant que tu manges pas la gerbille, ça me dérange pas.
My Halloween candy was all gone.
Tu vas bouffer la gerbille. Ah non, hein.
Mom, can I come out now?
Pourquoi elle est enfermée dans sa chambre?
It's late. Go to sleep.
Gerbille, c'est Mims? Bah ouais. Non, mange pas du
I kept
dentifrice.
eating and eating.
Quoi? Mais ne mange pas du dentifrice, c'est pas bon.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Mais chelou. Elle est chelou. Heureusement qu'elle a pas fait caca. Sinon elle serait en mode bon bah tant pis, je mange tout. Hein.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly,
Quoi?
I was a cat.
Quoi? Comment ça t'es un chat? Est-ce que... Quoi? Qu'est-ce que je peux faire? Mince, c'est pas... non, je veux pas faire triangle. Oh.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
D'accord, c'est R2 pour sauter. C'est trop stylé en vrai. Je suis un chat. C'est la préquelle de Stray. Mais moi je veux trop un jeu où je vais jouer un chat. Hein. J'ai trop hâte que Stray il sorte. Je fais un peu
I
du
jumped
parcours
and
là.
almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
Mais pourquoi il voudrait manger? Pourquoi elle voudrait manger l'oiseau?
I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Quoi? Je dirige la chouette.
Rabbits.
Où ça, rabbits? Ah, quelle dalleuse, mais ouais. Elle va manger tout le monde. Je vois pas de lapin. Ah là.
through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit.
Ouais, ça a pas de dents, hein, hibou.
Something bigger.
Elle est bizarre cette gamine, hein.
A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Quoi? Mais... Quoi? Oh, mais je suis un requin. Micron.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper and it tasted really good.
C'est l'effet du dentifrice. Elle est où? Elle est perdue. Elle est là.
I grabbed on tight, but I was so hungry I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
Oula. Qu'est-ce que je suis maintenant?
Now I was a monster and I smelled people everywhere.
Je sais pas si je suis un poulpe, mais je suis bizarre. Trop bizarre quoi. Elle est quand même très louche cette gamine. Ah,
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
j'ai du mal à voir où est-ce qu'elle veut en venir la
I wanted
gamine
to
là.
stop, but also I didn't.
Je rappelle qu'on lit son journal intime là. Oh, on entend Young Tak. Ah, c'est la musique des pirates. Il joue à Sea of Thieves le gars. Je peux pas passer par là? Non.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And to cross the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have. So I
Salut Gwen,
swam.
comment ça va? Je suis toujours un monstre là.
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Ça va être moi?
I got closer and closer.
Ah oui.
All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Quoi? Elle est timbrée.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Donc ça c'était Molly. D'un cauchemar comme ça, ah mais quel cauchemar, quel enfer. Moi je serais pas serein.
I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
Regarde, en plus il y a une espèce de grosse méduse. Là je deviens un chat.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
Sans la famille de dégénérer un peu, ouais. Hein.
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
L'arrière-grand-mère Edie. Ah d'accord, c'est elle Edie.
Her room was like a museum.
Ah, Odin.
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune. And misfortune.
Pourquoi? Non mais prends-le.
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan.
Il y a une malédiction familiale.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
Il prend la mer avec sa maison. Mais genre là il y a vraiment la maison qui est posée sur un bateau.
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
D'accord.
Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island.
Donc Molly c'est la fille de Eddie et Sven.
Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery.
Les déménageurs de l'extrême, ah vraiment.
His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
D'accord. Je vais marquer Odin dans mon truc du coup, j'imagine.
Whatever's wrong with this
Odin.
family, it goes back a long ways.
Donc, visiblement, ils ont l'air de dire, je sais pas si c'est une façon de parler, mais que il y a une malédiction sur leur famille. Ah, le jeu est prenant. Ouais. Moi aussi, je suis dedans. Moi, je veux savoir ce qui se passe là. C'est quoi cette embrouille?
Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
Mais tout le monde est mort, c'est quoi ce bordel?
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
Quoi? Un homme taupe qui vivait sous la maison? What?
I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Quoi? Faut plus faire d'enfants pour briser la malédiction. C'est vrai que c'est une
Even
bonne
in her
strat.
90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Faut pas déconner quand même. N'exagère pas trop. Oh. C'est quoi ce sol? Ouais, c'est un Playmobil ça. Bah pourquoi il y a une chaise dans... Ah bah si, c'est parce que c'est une vieille... C'est parce que c'était une vieille personne.
There's a secret in this bathroom.
Quoi?
It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Quoi? Mais qu'est-ce que c'est que cette maison? What the fuck?
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Moi aussi je veux une maison comme ça avec plein de passages secrets là. C'est un sol qui attrape bien la poussière et les bestioles ça. Ah le truc rose là en moumoute un peu. Je suis elle, je me barre direct, ça pue un peu du cul. Bah je sais pas. Tu penses? Oula. Fort Calvin. Oh! Non mais attends, mais quoi? Mais trop stylé ça. Trop stylé sa chambre. Ah, Fort. D'accord. Il y a Fort Sam et Fort Calvin, trop stylé. L'astronaute et le soldat. Tu fais quoi de tous ces passages secrets? Je sais pas, parfois je déciderais de pas passer par les chemins classiques et de passer par les passages secrets, je sais pas. Des cache-cache?
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him.
Ah, ils sont jumeaux les deux. Sam et Calvin.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
Oh là là, mais trop stylé. Il a son petit cockpit là. Je cache avec qui? Avec Soin D?
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
Ah super.
At Barbara's funeral, we swore he'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't.
Fais de la
I think
balançoire.
Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
Quoi? J'ai peur de
I told him
comprendre.
going around was impossible.
Faire un tour complet est
Maybe if
impossible,
I
mais ça
hadn't
paraît
said
tellement
that.
con.
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
Goût soin
Maybe
D.
if the wind hadn't picked
Ou
up,
re, je sais plus. En re, je crois.
then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind.
Ça me donne mal à la
That's what
tête
I
en
wanna
vrai, son
remember
truc.
about my brother.
Il a réussi?
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Putain, il a volé tellement loin. The fuck?
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Du coup, il est mort à 11 ans. Ça craint.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Eh bah super, hein.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Il a même pas l'âge de venir sur Twitch, bah ouais. Mais attends, c'est grave cette maison. Mais
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
ça me ramène au début. C'est Dark Souls, il y a des passages secrets.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Bah, c'est le cas, non? Barbara. En fait, on retrace vraiment
I never
l'histoire
thought about how
de
hard
chaque
it was
membre
to
de sa
be for her
famille.
afterwards.
En tout cas, ils ont une famille qui est active, quoi. Tu fais ce jeu-là, mais dans une famille, dans une famille avec full chômeur, il y aura pas autant de choses à dire, je pense.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been.
Oh, c'est une
But in
has-been.
a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter.
Oh, je sens l'idée de merde.
Was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages.
C'est
There's a
vrai.
key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding
Ah,
until finally the key pops out.
ah.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Oh, c'est stylé. Oula. C'est Halloween.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a ici? Pourquoi il y a des scies, des trucs là? On est dans Until Dawn?
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Ah.
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late
Quoi?
picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Je sais pas où il est, moi, Walter.
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Ah ouais, la musique d'Halloween, je la trouve stressante aussi, ouais.
Barbara turned, saw the hookman, and was speechless. He was quite smashing.
Qu'est-ce qu'il fout là?
And he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Qu'est-ce qu'il fout?
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
Qu'est-ce qu'il vient foutre ici? Je comprends pas trop.
She played her part. she sensed the story might not be over.
Ah, c'est le. On l'avait vu ça, ce bout de rambarde cassé. Ne glisse pas toi aussi sur le roller par contre s'il te plaît.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
Elle est trop bizarre cette phase en vrai.
At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true.
Quoi?
Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom.
J'ai rien compris.
But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but
J'ai
that's
rien
the
compris.
story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear.
Quoi?
Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Du coup, j'ai pas compris comment elle est morte. Les fans sont introduits chez elle et l'ont butée. Bizarre quand même. Je sais pas. Peut-être, hein. Pas trop l'intérêt de
I
buter
guess now
quelqu'un
I
que
know
t'aimes
why
bien,
Mom
mais...
didn't like me playing with the music box.
Sa famille est unlucky de fou. Ah bah ouais. Bon après, comment ça se fait que les gens ils peuvent rentrer comme ça chez elle sans pression? C'est quoi ce bordel?
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
Oui, j'ai compris qu'il fallait que j'aille à la boîte à musique, c'est bon. Cringe un peu les fans, un peu ouais. Hop. Imaginez si les followers de Skerax c'était comme ceux de Barbara, hein, super. J'ai pas trop envie qu'on s'introduise chez moi. Encore moins pour m'éliminer. Par contre j'ai tellement soif. Oh là là. C'est une catastrophe.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Un rap? Ah, un rappel. Un rap contre le tétanos. Ce serait pratique.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
Au bord de l'eau. Ouais, mais l'eau, c'est surcoté.
I thought maybe she was hiding.
C'est bien l'eau,
presents.
mais...
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Oula.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories,
Bah, c'est qu'ils ont pas de chance.
I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week.
Quoi? Ah, c'est juste le mec qui dit qu'il s'est enfui et il est au sous-sol, quoi.
But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today.
Je trouve que l'eau, c'est pas bon. C'est pas que c'est pas bon, c'est juste que...
I always expected
C'est
to
juste
be
que
dead.
bon... C'est bon l'eau, mais...
But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
Mais c'est quoi cette... cette histoire de tremblement de terre?
Even a monster on the other side of a door starts to feel normal.
Y a pas de goût. Bah...
Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can.
Il a tenu autant d'années comme ça, bah apparemment il est resté 30 ans à manger des pêches dans un bunker, quoi. Pourquoi il y a des livres partout tout le temps?
I know it's out there, somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly. And
Mais
Calvin.
Molly, pour le coup, c'est incompréhensible comment elle est morte. Genre, autant Barbara, je veux bien croire que des fans se sont introduits et tout, mais Molly, il y a pas vraiment un monstre sous son lit qui l'a tué, genre. Je comprends
Maybe
pas.
this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one real day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Mais c'est pas possible, ils sont vraiment pas doués. Bah on sait pas trop, Roro, c'est pas très
Walter
clair.
died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Donc, il a vécu de 52 à 2005, Walter. Il marche sur une voie ferrée, bah ouais, mais
I'm sure my mom
ils
was
sont
trying to
bizarres les gens.
protect me. Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
Mais, vas-y. J'espère qu'à la fin du jeu, oh mais putain, mais pourquoi tu fais ça? J'espère qu'à la fin du jeu, elle va pas juste être en mode, ah bah mince, moi aussi, c'est mon tour.
But if she never told me about an uncle under the house,
D'un oncle sous la maison.
I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
Ah oui d'accord, ça donnait pile sur la voie ferrée.
Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else.
Bon,
But now I'm worried the
il aurait pu
stories
l'entendre arriver le
themselves
train
might be
quand
the
même.
problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Ah oui, c'est même très probablement ça. Hein. Bah... Mais il venait d'où le train? Ah, de là du côté.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
Elle écrit ça à qui du coup?
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth. And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible. I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Mais il est où le cimetière d'ailleurs? Ah bah là. Ah oui, c'est peuplé en plus.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
D'accord, ça c'est les animaux. ça me gratte. Hop.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Je comprends pas comment elle est morte, Molly.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
Ah, c'est le truc en mode il est parti à la mer avec sa maison.
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
Ah oui d'accord, bah c'est là-bas.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Quoi?
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Ah. Elle écrit pour sa fille, du coup. Enfin, fille ou fils, hein, mais... On le voit qu'elle est enceinte ou pas? Oh, je sais pas. Ah, il y a une échelle, j'avais pas vu.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense. Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Vivre entouré par des boîtes. Bah ouais, c'est ça. Comment ils s'en débarrassaient de toutes ces boîtes de pêche? Et puis même, comment tu survis en mangeant que des boîtes de pêche?
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Oh, le jeu, il me berce. Sam. Alors comment il est mort lui?
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
Il va se faire buter par un ours là.
What? It's too early, Dad.
Merde. J'arrête pas d'appuyer sur triangle. Ah merde. Je me suis trompé.
Okay.
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it?
Oh.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Aw. You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
À chaque fois que je prends une photo, je deviens aveugle.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Il fait pipi.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
Genre une tasse.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time.
Parce qu'il veut que je prenne en photo.
Give me a minute to check the map.
Qu'est-ce que je comprends pas, je suis teubé.
Maybe. Or was it? Could have been. You don't need to waste any more film on me, kiddo.
Ah oui, mais bon. Je comprends pas. Je deviens juste aveugle à chaque fois que je tente de prendre une photo. Ah. Putain, j'avais pas vu le cerf.
Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of him.
Il est où? Ah.
Dad, I...
Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you need to be strong. Great shot, Dawn!
Super.
I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
Non, elle va pas l'oublier. Ah, j'ai pas vu que je jouais le perso. C'est Flash qui m'a brûlé les yeux. Ah ouais.
Sorry, Dawn, I
Oh!
just gotta reset the timer.
D'accord, c'est un minuteur.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
some-
normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Oh shit. Alors là. Ah là pour le coup.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Bah même moi, il fait assez sombre. Je me fais complètement atomiser les yeux. Hein. Faut jamais faire ça. Bah ouais non. Oh. Mais il y a combien de passages secrets?
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
J'ai du mal à visualiser l'arbre généalogique hein, toujours. Ouais c'est ça Dalen. Bah clairement c'est après j'imagine que là c'est perché mais que ça va prendre du sens mais ouais c'est en vrai c'est stylé. J'aime bien la manière dont ça raconte les histoires et dont ce que le jeu te demande de faire. Genre ça participe au truc quoi.
Do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh